The objective in today's lesson is to analyze character, setting, and conflict in a given literary text. Our objective for today is to analyze character, setting, and conflict in a given literary text. The first thing that we do when we begin a new lesson is we identify the skill. The skill is usually the first word in the objective. It is an action word. So right now, I want you to identify the skill in today's objective. Circle it on your note sheet and then enter it in the Edpuzzle box. Next, we need to identify the concepts. The concepts are the actual ELA items that we're going to learn about. In this lesson, there are 3 concepts. On your note sheet, I want you to identify the 3 concepts and then type them in the Edpuzzle box. The first part of the lesson focuses on character. A character is a figure in a literary work that either is a human being or possesses human qualities and is portrayed in human terms. So we see here human characters. We also see the characters from The Lion King, which are all animals, but they have human qualities, meaning they can talk and sing. And then also characters from Beauty and the Beast, which has a combination of human characters and animals as well as objects that still behave as humans do and possess human qualities. Let's check for understanding right now. A figure in a literary work that either is a human or possesses human qualities and is portrayed in human terms is A, a character, B, conflict, C, theme, D, plot, E, setting. Choose your answer in the Edpuzzle box. There are 4 basic types of characters. Dynamic, one who changes in a significant way during the course of a story. So say for example, the character was mean and hateful at the beginning of the story, but because of the lessons that he learned throughout the story, he becomes kind and caring at the end. He will be considered a dynamic character. A static character is one who remains the same throughout the story. So a static character who was mean and hateful at the beginning of the story would be mean and hateful at the end of the story. A round character is one who is presented in a complex 3-dimensional portrait, which means that we'll see positive things that they do as well as negative things. And a flat character is one who is presented as having a single trait. Flat characters are usually secondary characters. They aren't main characters in a story. Now, the way in which an author presents a character is called characterization. There are 2 main types of characterization, direct and indirect. With direct characterization, the author literally tells what a character is like. In indirect characterization, the reader must infer what the character is like through the character's thoughts, actions, words, and interactions with other characters, including other characters' reactions. Let's look at some examples. So, with direct characterization, the author tells us. The writer tells us in words what a character is like. Mary Ann was a mean and spiteful little girl. So, based on this sentence, we know 2 things. That Mary Ann is mean and spiteful. The author tells us right out. With indirect characterization, the author shows us through actions, thoughts, and appearance, and the way other characters respond to him. So let's look at this example. Amy ran to the door to assist her mother with the groceries. In the Edpuzzle box, I want you to write down what we learn about Amy based on this sentence. By thoughts. Jane thought, maybe she won't find out about this. What do we learn about Jane just by seeing how she thinks? And then appearance. Sam's clothes were obviously tailor-made, his shoes expensive Italian leather, and diamond and gold rings were on both hands. So based on this sentence, what can we learn about Sam? Alright, let's check for understanding. Question number 1 asks us, what are the 4 basic types of character? Write your answer in the Edpuzzle box. The 4 basic types of character are dynamic, static, flat, and round. Question number 2 asks us, what are the 2 types of characterization? Write your answer in the Edpuzzle box. The 2 types of characterization are direct characterization, where an author tells us exactly what a character is like, and indirect characterization, where the author shows us what a character is like by the character's actions, the character's thoughts, their appearance, or the way other characters respond to them. Our next part of the lesson focuses on setting, and setting is very easy for us. And besides, it's also something that we've talked about in previous grades. So, setting is the time and place where the action in a literary work occurs. For example, the time could be past, present, future. You could be specific with years, 2000, 2010, 3000, the year 3065. Or a place, classroom, library, home, store, park, baseball game. So remember, the setting has to focus on the time and place where the action in a literary work occurs. Let's do a quick check for understanding. The time and place where the action of a literary work takes place is the A, character, B, conflict, C, theme, D, plot, E, setting. And the last part of our lesson focuses on analyzing conflict. Conflict is the dramatic struggle between 2 forces in a story. Without conflict, there is no plot. No one would read a book or watch a movie where the characters don't have any problems and everything is perfect all of the time. There has to be some type of problem. So let's do a quick check for understanding. A struggle or clash between opposing characters or the character's emotions. It is the problem in the story. Is this the definition for A, character, B, conflict, C, theme, D, plot, or E, setting? Now let's talk about the 4 basic types of conflict. Character versus character, character versus nature, character versus society, and character versus self. In the character versus character conflict, it's the type of conflict that finds the main character in conflict with another character, whether that character is human or not human. So let's look at this example from The Ugly Duckling. The new one is the most beautiful of all. He is so young and pretty, and the old swans bowed their heads before him. Then he felt quite ashamed and hid his head under his wing, for he did not know what to do. He was so happy, and yet not at all proud. He had been persecuted and despised for his ugliness, and now he heard them say he was the most beautiful of all the birds. So this is a character versus character conflict because the swan was in conflict with the other ducks who picked at him and told him how ugly he was. In the character versus nature conflict, you find the main character in conflict with the forces of nature, which serve as the antagonists. So let's look at this example from The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. So in this example, the character is in conflict with nature, meaning that the environment. People weren't taking care of the environment, and so the book is giving us advice on how to keep our environment safe and how to grow plants and trees so that our environment is livable for all of us. In the character versus society conflict, the main character is in conflict with a larger group, a community, society, or culture. Let's look at this example from The Island of Skog by Stephen Kellogg. "I'm tired of living in a hole," said Jenny. "Let's fight for freedom," cried Bouncer. "We'll be soldiers, rough-riding rowdies. I'll be the general and commander-in-chief." So here, this character or these characters are in conflict with a society. They're in conflict with slavery. They are wanting to be free, but right now society has depicted that because of who they are or what they look like, they have to remain slaves, and they're fighting against that. And in character versus self, the main character experiences some type of inner conflict. So it means that they are struggling with something on the inside. Usually it's a moral decision. So here in this example from Sam Bangs and Moonshine, I'll read this excerpt for you. "Finally, Sam's father said, 'Go to bed now. But before you go to sleep, Sam, tell yourself the difference between real and moonshine.'" So here, Sam's father wants him to understand that everything that people tell you not always true, or sometimes dreams that you have may not be realistic. And so the character is struggling to believe as to what he can do with himself in life. So let's check for understanding. What are the 4 basic types of conflict? Write this answer in the Edpuzzle box. If you chose character versus character, character versus nature, character versus society, and character versus self, you are absolutely correct. Congratulations, you have finished this video. Make sure to glue your notes in your ISN so that you'll have them for safe record keeping. Great job!